All right. It says we're going live, and it says we are live. Okay. Wow. Perfect. What was that?
Just threw my phone.
Oh, perfect. That's the great first sound. That's how we're starting this thing.
Yeah,
All
you're like,
right.
we're live. I'm just like, wait.
Yep. All right. Well, how's it going, everyone? Hope you guys are doing well. Welcome to the first Griff on One, where I talk to just a bunch of people, and we can talk about anything. We talk about NASCAR, not NASCAR, art, life, whatever it is, and we're just gonna do it. So we're gonna talk here for about an hour and a half, and we're gonna talk to ya boy Jake Baskinger. Jake, how are you doing?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me on.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. Let me just do one thing here. I probably should have done this sooner. Just want to make sure that you there. So how are you doing, Jake? How are
I'm
you
doing
doing?
great. Yeah, I'm doing really good. Thanks for having me on. It's a pleasure to be the
Absolutely.
first one, honestly, to be the first one.
Yeah, dude. Absolutely. And I know we've kind of talked in the past about wanting to do like kind of like a talking kind of show where it's not based around anything specific. It's not like a NASCAR talk. It's not a like we're just free flowing it, just having a nice like dialogue about life, about whatever's on our
Just
minds.
having a good old time.
Mm-hmm. All right. So, but we know that you are a NASCAR YouTuber. So
Mm-hmm.
let's start from the beginning. Let's hit up the when, the how, like what happened to get you interested in NASCAR? What is your NASCAR testimony, if you will?
So it all started on a wonderful day. I actually remember the day that I was like, I wanted to start up a YouTube channel with my friend. Me and him were like best buds, and it was back in seventh grade in October 25th, 2 days after my birthday, 2011. That's when all of this decided to start. But we had like an original channel start up, but for some reason, like I remember it was back then, like YouTube couldn't take Gmail as a YouTube account, so
Oh yeah, that's
it took
right.
us like a month just to get like a whole channel started up. So I'm like, screw it, I'm starting a Yahoo account. Still have that Yahoo account with this account that I have in with YouTube. So we started making videos. We were making videos together, and then he started getting like not so much into it, but I still wanted to do it.
Mm-hmm.
So I took over the channel back in December, actually, like Christmas time, and I just started making like all different types of like NASCAR videos because I tried making football videos, I tried making all different types of videos, but NASCAR was the only one that wasn't getting like taken down.
Mm.
So,
Really?
uh, yeah, it was actually the only one. That's the only reason why I started like making NASCAR videos. Well, I mean, I was watching NASCAR videos before, had a bit of an interest in it,
Mm-hmm.
but my original interest was just making like football videos, and those were getting taken down because NFL was so strict about it back then. So NASCAR didn't have like a strict ruling. They were just like, as long as you just give us credit, which I did,
Mm-hmm.
and that was before like Fox Sports started coming in and like taking down like putting their own copyright on the videos back in like 2013.
Mm.
So started making NASCAR videos, made music videos actually, which is kind of funny back then because they were all not good. They're all deleted away from my channel.
Okay. Okay.
And yeah, and overall just started making some like compilations 2013. That's what really drove them viewers. Reached my first thousand in 2015. Took me 4 years, so that's dedication right there.
Mm-hmm.
Anybody who's wanting to like start out with YouTube,
Mm-hmm.
it took me 4 years to get 1,000 subscribers, and look at me now, I'm at 28,000. So it's something just to like, it takes time. It takes time. You don't beg for viewers. You keep going. You keep getting whatever like views you get, and you work for it. That's how I got to 1,000 subscribers, and then it took me 4 more years to get 28,000. So I'm working to 30,000 to the end of the year, and it's going going swell, going swell.
Cool. Cool. So now, if I remember correctly, you weren't always Jake Bassinger on YouTube. Is that
Oh no,
correct?
I was Mr. Cobblers one.
Mr.
The
Kyle Bush
original
one.
channel was actually the original channel that I started with my friend. It was Giants fan 1842 because
Really?
yeah, 18 because I'm a Kyle Busch fan, and 42 because I was actually a Juan Paul Montoya fan.
Mm. Okay.
So that was like my original like gamer tag on Xbox too. So that's why I had it up there too, because I wanted to make some gaming videos at the time.
Okay.
That never came to fruition.
Okay.
So
So
yeah,
cool. So
yeah.
you were a Juan fan. So all right. What were your thoughts and reactions when 2012 happened, Daytona?
That was painful. That was painful
Mm-hmm.
because I stayed up for that race. I'm just, like, obviously something broke in the car, and I was the only one that was like sitting there like something broke in the car, and everybody's memeing about it, and it
Mm-hmm.
was just like I'm just like sitting there like, yeah, everybody knew me as God Bless fan, so that was a good thing.
Mm. Yeah, no, I remember that too. Like because it was under caution when it happened, and so we were just
Yeah,
thinking, oh, it's going
yeah,
to restart, and then all of a sudden we see like this fire, and we see Montoya just absolutely destroyed, and
yeah. Get out of the car, like walking away. You see like all the damage. Like I didn't even know there was a caution at the time. I was
mm-hmm.
like downstairs doing something with my parents.
Yep,
I come up and I see Juan Pablo Montoya's car. I'm like, what the hell happened?
yeah.
and then they just showed a jet dryer. I'm like,
What
oh
happened?
jeez. Like
Yeah.
I was so confused.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So so now that like Juan is gone, have you picked up on Larson at all? Do you like Larson?
I don't mind Larson, honestly. Like he's a really good driver. I never really like became a fan of him so much.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we just stuck around with Kyle Busch for quite some time, and then I slightly started becoming more of a Chris Buescher fan when he
Mm.
won like the championship,
Yeah.
and I was just like following along with him for so long. And I've been saying for years he's so underrated, and now he's finally getting the chance in the 17 car, which I'm happy about. I'm
Yeah.
so happy about that.
Okay, so hot take alert. What are your thoughts on Stenhouse? Do you think he's been around too long? Do you think he deserves another cup ride? What do you think?
He shows that he has talent. Actually, he shows that he can actually race a car. He drives that car. I don't like people say it's dirty. I say it's racing. So I
Mm-hmm.
feel like he's going to get another ride. I feel like he's going to be taking over. He's going to be taking over another former Roush driver who didn't make it out so well, David Reagan, over at front row. That's what I think. He's
You
going to be
think
taking
so?
over that 38 car. Yeah, I think he's going to take over that 38
Okay.
because he can still drive. And the 38 car has been prone to be good on plate tracks, and he's a good plate racer.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like that's a perfect ride for him.
Okay.
He's still going to be around. I feel like he's still going to do his thing. He's going to race everybody as hard as he can. And yeah, I feel like he could do something good there. Sorry about that.
No, that's fine. So
In case you want to know, West Virginia got 44 points over.
over who?
The game just started. What are they talking about? I
So
don't know. I don't know.
so going back to the Stenhouse meme. So my thoughts on Stenhouse. So I'm kind of a guy that, at least at first, the design of the car makes me kind of realize who my favorite driver is. And when
Mm-hmm.
Stenhouse first appeared and did his first full season in the Nationwide Series is in 2010. And that was when he drove the number 6 City Financial car. And for whatever
Oh
reason, that car
yeah.
was so gorgeous. And just something about the
Mm-hmm.
6 that's off of like the Biffle 16 that like I just
Right.
love the design of that car, and I really hoped Stenhouse was gonna do well, and he did.
Mm-hmm.
But the only problem was, for whatever stupid reason, they decided to change the 6 font from the Biffle font to the traditional Roush 6 font, which I
Right.
personally am not a fan of, but whatever. But anyway, Stenhouse, got us to nationwide championships, which is good. But, it's also a little controversial because those were the first 2 years where it was only nationwide drivers competed for the
Right.
championship. So there wasn't that much competition at the time.
Mm-hmm.
So when he moved over to the Cup Series in 2013, I thought he would be a good replacement for Kenza because, again, he knows how to win races, he knows how to drive, he knows how to compete. And
Right.
it's one,
Exactly.
it's one of those things that makes me question how much of a team, like, does it depend on the driver, and does it depend on the actual car itself, like the actual build of the vehicle? Because I
Mm-hmm.
noticed it's like when Stenhouse first came or into the series and then Roush started to like dwindle, I noticed it was a mix of both the drivers as well as the vehicles both kind of slumped. Because back in, what was it, 2014, you still had like Stenhouse and Biffle and Edwards were all
Right.
there, and like they were all good, But once Stenhouse came, then it seemed like the whole team kind of suffered a little bit.
A little bit. That's what it seemed like. It definitely showed because Edwards wasn't performing as well. Biffle wasn't performing as well. So it definitely showed like the team was dwindling
Yeah,
at
and
the time.
I just question like how much of a team like or like a race, like for example, like let's just say going back to now in the Xfinity series with Brandon Jones.
Hmm.
So like how much because Brandon Jones is in a good car with Joe Gibbs Racing.
Yeah.
What I question is like, does Brandon Jones make the car good, or does the car make Brandon Jones good? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. I feel like with I believe in Brandon Jones. Like everybody hates him so much, but the dude can race. Like we've seen in the truck series, he can race. We see it in ARCA, he can race.
Mm-hmm.
It's just that like he gets this like figure that he's a like a money bag guy. He just brings in the money because his dad owns Ream.
Yep.
So I just feel like Brandon Jones, he just needs to get out of that like figure that like oh he's daddy's money or whatever. He's only there because he brings sponsorship to the team, but he can race. I
Mm-hmm.
feel like he can do good, but you just got to get him in the right car. You got to get him in the right time. You got to work him up a little bit. I feel like he's spending enough time in the Xfinity, maybe one more year, because you got to remember he came straight to Xfinity. I don't remember him like so
Mm.
much in ARCA. He was like part time in ARCA before. He wasn't really racing K&N so much. He won races down there,
Yep.
but like he wasn't like going out there racing every week and whatever. So he was put straight into an Xfinity car. He's still developing. So it's just a matter of time of like when he can pull through and actually start winning. And I feel like getting rid of Cole Custer, Tyler Reddick, and Christopher Bell from the series, he could be the next guy up. That's
Mm-hmm.
what I think.
I I'm going to go ahead and take the other side of the coin on this because like again, I'm for anybody having a like attempt to get like into the big leagues. Like if anybody wants to try the race, I think they should have an opportunity. My thinking though with Brandon, like as you said, the whole daddy's money with Reem, like unfortunately that does
Mm-hmm.
kind of pull off the tongue, kind of not the best. But I also know that throughout NASCAR history, a lot of like helping or oh, what's the word like when like another person helps another person get into the sport. Big example like Dale Earnhardt Jr. Dale Earnhardt Jr. would not
Yeah.
be in the sport if it weren't for his father, Dale Earnhardt. The thing with
Mm-hmm.
Brandon though, and the reason why I'm a little just is because like he's been full time in the Xfinity series since was it 2016? I think wasn't that his first full time
When he
season?
started with RCR, I
I
think it
bel
was 2016, 2017.
for sure 2017, but I think he did 2016. I need to double check
I know he
that.
did like part time in the number 33 car a lot.
I know.
That's what I remember.
Let me pull up Racing Reference quickly, but yeah,
Hmm.
I'm pretty. But the point is, like Brandon, like I don't know, and I think just another thing too, and this is more personal than anything else, but like he doesn't seem like a guy, like a relatable guy, in my opinion.
No,
Like
no,
he's not
no.
like a person that like you can relate to. That like, and I guess in my defense too, I don't really know much of Brandon Jones. Like I don't really know much of like his character, his background, and whatnot. Let me
Like
know.
all I know is that he's from Atlanta and his dad owns Reams, so
Oh,
hey, he's representing Atlanta.
by the way, he did run the full 2016 season.
He did. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. So he's been in the Xfinity Series now for four now 5 full time years. So yeah,
Jeez. Okay.
so he's been in there for so first RCR and now Joe Gibbs.
Mm-hmm.
So let's get off of that boat and let's do another controversial thing. I want to talk to you a little bit more about your tweet that you posted last night, if you want to talk about that.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay. I'm cool with that.
So you tweeted about the whole what if the Homestead winner who happened to be the champion, he got disqualified. So no, the thing is, I support you with this.
Mm-hmm.
It's very like it is a very legit, realistic thing, because like let's just say the final four, and I'll just throw four random drivers: Martin Truex, Denny Hamlin, Kyle Busch, Chase Elliott. And so
That's
the
what it's
one,
seeming like right now, honestly.
yeah, and so like let's just say Martin Truex wins at Homestead. He's the winner. He wins 2019 championship. And side note, my predictions video would be a total bust, but we can talk about that later.
I mean,
Um,
predictions it's hard to make,
I
honestly.
right, right.
They're so
Um,
hard.
I know. And it's so dumb because I said Martin Truex was not going to win a single race, and Martin Truex
Yeah,
is all like, he's like,
I
oh, I'm
remember
gonna win.
that.
I'm gonna win freaking 6 races. Are you
He's not gonna
kidding
win a
me?
single race in that number 19 car. He's gonna be the fourth.
Yeah, my head is so big because I'm so smart. It's depressing. Whatever. It's fine. I'm happy. Anyway, so going back to Martin Truex, let's just say he wins the championship, right? And then yeah, like I don't know an exact like term, but like he gets disqualified. So like technically wise, like it makes sense. Like he doesn't get it, and let's just say Chase Elliott does finish second, and he ends up winning like the championship in the race, but because Truex is disqualified. So playing the what if game for a second here, like what do you think the follow up would be if a situation like that would happen?
I think second place is gonna get it. I think like whoever like because it shows that like you cheated to get the championship.
Yep.
You don't deserve it. You're
Yep.
it's like the final race is the person that first finishes ahead of everybody else that's in the final four wins the championship, which we could go on so much about how that is a stupid program on how that's a true champion.
Yep.
But I mean, I could see it because I could see both sides in like the playoffs or whatever because NFL, NHL,
Yeah.
but NASCAR is not any of those. It's different. Anyway, it shows that you cheated to get that championship.
Yep.
So like, why do you deserve to get the trophy, get the money when like the person in second worked their ass off? Sorry if I'm not allowed
Yeah.
to
Watch.
curse.
I do ask to watch the language on.
Sorry. Okay.
That's okay.
But these people worked their butts off to get to the to get their championship, and they lose to somebody who's blatantly cheating, and actually like I've been getting like a lot of comments saying like, oh, they're gonna make sure these guys don't cheat. They're gonna make sure these guys don't do this. They're gonna make sure these guys don't do that.
I
But
disagree with that.
but here's the thing: there's no different than what they're gonna be doing for every single race. So if you like, and especially like what we seen with Harvick back in like 2018, he that rear window broke during the race, and he failed post race inspection because that track bar that was back there holding up the window obviously broke, and it gave him more of an advantage. So it shows that like these guys, like that's not a true champion. You cheated to get that championship. You should be docked. You shouldn't even be in the final four if you're going to be cheating to get to the final four. Like, but obviously they passed every single inspection up until that point. But then you get to the point where they start cheating. That's when you take it away. And plus, I've been getting like so many comments saying like, "Oh, NASCAR is going to hide it. NASCAR is not going to do this. They're going to make sure there's none of this happening."
Yeah.
But they can't do that. If they get caught doing that, they're in huge trouble. Meaning that 2021 is supposed to be redemption year for NASCAR. But if they get to 2020, like if this whole thing happens and there's a whole lawsuit, whole fiasco, 2021 is not going to be existing so well. They're going to have to like cut prices and make the car like they're probably have to cut back the next gen car to like 2 or 3 years later if they get stuck in like a big ass lawsuit for. I'm so sorry. I'm so
okay.
sorry.
It's okay.
I curse like a sailor. I'm so sorry. But
The
it's
big
just like,
lawsuits.
huh? Yeah,
I'm
the
sorry.
lawsuits, like, they're going to have to cut back the car. That probably could be too late for NASCAR because everybody's expecting 2021 redemption year. But they're going to be like, oh, we have all these lawsuits. We're going to have to cut it back. People are not going to stay for that.
Yeah.
They're already waiting like a year now, like less than 2 years right now. So you can't do that. You can't just blatantly just say, oh, it never even happened. Just on to the next year.
Right.
No, it doesn't make sense.
Yeah, and that is actually something that I've been thinking about too. Is just like the whole idea of simply how, like the overall question of just how can we make NASCAR like more fun, more approachable, so that more like fans can come back. And like the thing that I'm very torn on the whole like playoff system in general. Because
Hmm.
on one hand, I do like the idea because it does build that drama and like that excitement, and I get the whole argument that it's forced, and that's true because it's
Hmm.
like all of that drama is pushed to the end, and it's just like, but at the same time, though, it also puts like again an emphasis on the end of the races, and at the beginning of the races, it's like it doesn't really mean much. Especially like for example this year with Denny Hamlin winning the Daytona 500, he
Hmm.
like really doesn't have much to race for up until the playoffs because he knows he's in the playoffs.
Right.
And I'll give kudos to NASCAR on the one change they made with the whole playoff points, where the more points you earn and whatnot, or sorry, the more wins you earn, the more of an advantage you get into the playoffs. Like I'm
Hmm.
good with that. I like that. That's
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
great.
Because it shows that like the progress you made through the season gets you rewarded in the end.
Yeah, yeah, and like that's great. But I guess what I wish is that NASCAR and like the people like Fox and NBC would emphasize that more and actually show
Hmm.
more of like the point standings as it is throughout, and like have more of an emphasis on the regular season. Like I would love to
Right.
see that. And so not a shameless plug or anything, but like one idea I had for my One More Spark series was doing so the real champion would be like the good old days where it's points all the way across.
Hmm.
But I also like the idea of having like a little like do you remember back in the day a what's it called, the Noble Five?
The Noble Five. Oh
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, I remember that. It's like the guys with like the red numbers on top of their
Yes,
car.
yes.
Yes.
So what my idea is doing like a Noble Five thing at the end of the year, and it's like let's just
Hmm.
give like the top 12 in points, and so they'll all have like the red or and nowadays like green
Like
tape or whatever,
green.
and so like and it'll be like a playoff champion. It'll be like an extra incentive for those that are like 12 and farther back to race a little
Hmm.
harder so that they could get more points and get higher up in positions and they could race for like that playoff championship. But that's a completely
Right.
separate entity, while the actual championship, which is the actual points regular season championship, still goes on. So you still have like that thing to look forward to, but the actual
Hmm.
champion would be crowned at the end. You know what I'm
So
saying?
like you're like what you're saying is like I'm gonna relate this to like NCAA like like March Madness.
Yeah,
You're gonna
yeah,
have like pretty much the round of like the main tournament March Madness, and
yes.
then you're gonna have like the NIT tournament. So like
Oh, yeah, yeah.
in like a way you're gonna be having like two separate things going on. So like you get like one guy like the true champion and possibly like the backmarker champion you can call it, I guess.
For sure. Just a heads up, we did. Okay, there's the sound. Great. So we did get a super chat from Corvette Racing 48. I guess we could talk about it now just because it does
Yeah,
relate to
yeah.
what we're talking about. He said the Phenom 5 from what would have been OMS 2002. So yeah, that was one of my things. I don't remember if you watch my One More Spark videos at all, just out of curiosity?
I've watched them like a long time ago. Yeah, I watched them like when they first came out. Actually, like the first day, like I just noticed that they came on, and I watched it like right away.
Got it. So the Phenom 5, that was kind of like an I at some point would love to bring back One More Spark and continue with 2002.
Mhm.
What one of the things I had was a Phenom 5, and it's like yeah, oh man, it's been so long. I need to go back to the video, but it's like you go to like four races or so, and it's like a bigger race or bigger like as you said, or going back to the college basketball term, like you know how there's like little tournaments throughout the season,
Yes.
like at the aircraft
Like do you have
carrier.
like yeah, like you have like ones that are like in Hawaii, you have
Yes,
like yeah, like
yes,
certain locations and everything.
yeah, yeah. That's what the Phenom 5 would be like, where it's like you go to like four races and I don't remember, but it's like whoever like did the best of those four races would be like the Phenom 5 champion, gets like a bonus amount of money.
Mhm.
Or oh no, I remember now. It's like those four races were like qualifying races, and then it's like you get to the last like five races or something like that, and then that's its own playoff. And the people that qualify for that playoff are for those that were in that those Phenom 5 races. So
Okay.
yeah, it's a little
All right, I
complicated.
get that.
Yeah, it's a little complicated, but that's the way it rolls. But going,
Like the way I'm thinking about it is like maybe make like the most boringest races during the year, the Phenom 5 races, just to make those races more like bring in more viewers and like have like not like really be like a boring race. These guys are actually racing for something.
for sure.
Like in that case, yeah.
For sure. By the way, we got another super chat from Reverend Rasheem Stewart. I know we did talk about the idea of doing the super chats at the end, but just because they relate to what we're talking
Mm-hmm.
about now, that's why I'm bringing it up. There's the
Right.
sound. So just shout out to Rasheem Stewart for the question, man. Thank you very much. He asked, "Do you think that the cup or that cup series should race internationally? Should they go outside our borders,
Internationally.
across the pond, or go to Canada or something like that?" We'll go back to the playoff talk here in a minute, but like, do you
Yeah.
think they should?
I think they should like test out like a little bit. Like they test out with Japan, Australia, in like 1987. They tested out Japan in like 1988, 1999. I feel like if you like I feel like I actually did like a poll because I'm working on something with like trying to determine like where NASCAR needs to be like
Yep.
located, where they need to like have tracks and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I feel like I got so many international people. Two places came up to mind like right away, which were United Kingdom and Australia.
Okay.
And Australia has their own type of NASCAR over there with the Super V8s.
Yep.
So I feel like if we bring like NASCAR to Australia, it might work, but it's just a matter of the cost. That's the
Yep.
problem. That's
Yep.
why I'm like a little bit like, should they or should they like have at least the international series, like the Euro series, like
Hmm.
have like sort of like a Euro series in Australia? Like that's what I'm trying to like determine because
Yeah. And
there's
so,
people that are interested in NASCAR over there.
absolutely. And so, I guess my question off of that is, would you rather have a Euro, like its own series? Like, let's just pick Australia. Let's just pick on them for a minute. So, do you
Mm-hmm.
want to do like a NASCAR Australia series where it's just its own series that's in Australia, or have like an exhibition race or two with the actual Cup guys down under in Australia?
I think the exhibition might be the best thing because you're bringing the best guys from our sport to their country.
Yep.
So it's gonna bring some eyes like, whoa, like and people like in Australia they remember Marcus Ambrose came over and he
Absolutely.
raced NASCAR.
Yep.
So if you bring NASCAR over there, it's gonna bring some like interest. Like, whoa, this is
Yep.
the stuff that Marcus Ambrose raced.
Yep.
So it's gonna be something interesting for them.
Yeah, and I'll even add on like it is more in North America because first of all you got like the Canadians. Like for example, if you remember in 2008, you got the Canadians of both Patrick Carpentier as well as Jacques
Mm-hmm.
Villeneuve. They came
Yeah.
down to America to race with us, and like that's like an open door. Like why not go to like either Mossport or Montreal or something like that, or
Right.
heck, go even though it's still the United States technically, but go to that track up in Alaska. What's it called, Jukasa Speedway or something like that?
Yes,
That
yes.
would
Just to
be
get
really
that a
cool.
shot.
Absolutely.
Like,
Just get
I
out
would
of our
say,
borders. Yeah.
I would say maybe like get the trucks up there, like just at
Mm,
least try it out.
yeah.
Because like Canada would be amazing to have like NASCAR go up there, like for like have like a Canadian tour during the series, like go to like 3 or 4 different
Mm,
tracks up in Canada
yeah.
and just travel around there. Like we have the West Coast swing,
Yep.
and then we have like all different types of like mini races like in between, but like have like a Canadian tour
Ooh, like
because like yeah,
like a little Canadian like playoff, if you will, like just the four
like a
like
little
Canadian
Canadian
races.
championship during the
Yeah.
season.
Yeah, and the winner gets like a little bonus. I okay, no, I support
Right.
you. I like that
Yeah.
idea.
Yeah, like Joe Villeneuve, that would be a good track. Mosport, we've seen that's a good track.
Yeah.
And then there's like a couple like short tracks like Juke, like what's that, like Jacusa, I think it's called. It's like a really
Jukasa,
good
yeah,
track.
the Alaska track.
Jacasa. Yeah, like that track's really good. And there's like a bunch of other good tracks that have potential that could be like great Canadian tracks for NASCAR.
Mm-hmm. So while we're still north, I guess we'll bring up the suggestion of would you consider going to Toronto and do a street circuit for stock cars?
I feel like we have to do like I feel like an exhibition race would be good just to test out.
Mm-hmm.
Like at least like because I don't know how like a NASCAR would work on a like a street course. Like I said, V8s are technically NASCAR,
Yeah.
but they're made for road courses and they're made
Yeah.
for all that. So I'm
Yep.
not sure how a stock car would work on in like exhibition place over there.
All I'm just thinking about is just how loud it would be there. Because I mean, like Indy cars and stuff like that, they're loud.
Oh.
But just think about it. So you got Indy cars, and there's only like what 23, let's just say, 23
hmm
Indy cars. But then you got like bring the cars and the Cup guys, or even Xfinity. You still got like 38 of them, and
You
if
still
you
got
go,
a lot.
oh yeah, if you go to a race, like you know how loud they
And
get, and
and if you notice that like all road courses, we get more participation of like drivers coming in.
mhm.
So we're gonna have a full field.
Oh, absolutely. Well,
Yeah.
I'm gonna argue with that a little bit, just especially if like recently we have not seen many of those like road ringers come in like recently. I
Not
mean,
not so much to the Cup series.
yeah, I mean Xfinity a little bit, but like
Mm.
even in the Roval, like the Xfinity guys, like I don't really I mean, there's maybe like a couple, but like we don't even know like any
Yeah,
of
like
them.
they're like guys that race like in Trans-Am. I think like they're not like noticeable guys. Like
Okay.
we had James Davison,
Oh yeah,
like Jack Hawksworth who were from IndyCar. Like we
yeah.
haven't had like those guys so much anymore.
Mm. Nothing against
And
Hawk.
a lot of the old road course ringers are like very old now.
Yeah.
So yeah, they're all retired at this point. So
Uh,
we need to bring in a new crop.
yeah. But
And that's why we got AJ Allmendinger.
well, I mean, we had him, but no,
Yeah,
no,
but
no,
now
yeah,
he can be a road course ringer.
there you go. If he wants to, for sure.
Yeah,
Oh,
bringing Justin Marks back, he'll be somebody that's a road course ringer.
isn't Justin Marks done though? I thought he's done with racing, wasn't he?
I think he's still. I don't know if he's still racing in IMSA. Actually.
Oh, okay. I was just thinking NASCAR though. Like, hey, I heard
Oh
he's
yeah,
done
no,
with
I
NASCAR.
don't know if he's done with NASCAR so much. Like he used to own a team,
Hmm.
like in the K&N series with H. Scott.
Oh,
So
okay, yeah, for sure.
he's there's obviously some sort of interest that's probably still there.
For sure. So let's go back to the playoffs here, and just the whole idea of trying to like make NASCAR better, because like that's what we are, what we're doing. I mean, and that. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and shift this topic, but kind of keep it in still. So this the idea
Mm,
of like being. So we're technically NASCAR YouTubers. Like that's like
yeah.
what people have given us that name,
hmm
but we're also human, and we also do have other interests as well.
Right.
And I know that both of us have in common that we're both like NASCAR fans, and that's how we each got our like notice, and people notice us because of our NASCAR content.
hmm
But for you, you are interested in other sports, whereas for
Oh yeah.
myself, I'm more interested in animation, cartoons, art, and design.
hmm
So I guess just starting off with you, I guess my question is so you have an interest in other sports, and let's talk about this. So you do have an interest in other sports. Like what sports besides NASCAR are you interested in?
So many, so many. Football especially, hockey especially. Getting into basketball a little bit more. Soccer, like love them all, love them all. I got Atlanta United right there, so that's soccer right there.
Okay.
Got my Braves over there for baseball. I'm also interested in baseball, but I don't really want to go into that so
Okay.
much.
Okay.
Yeah,
Fair
it's
enough.
just like it's something cool. It's like something nice, just like hang out, have on the TV, or go to the game. Just
Right.
like your backyard. It's just like just chilling.
Mm-hmm. So in terms of football, what do you prefer, NFL or college?
Right, like college is amazing. Like I'll just say that right now. But pros has definitely been more of an interest for me.
Mm-hmm.
It's like I grew up in the north, like New York, New Jersey. So like they didn't really have a football team. They had probably Rutgers and Syracuse. Like
Mm-hmm.
they're really not never that good. Like everybody's like thought like Notre Dame's from New York or New Jersey. They're from
No.
Indiana, but
Yep.
everybody over there roots for Notre Dame.
Oh, that's
So
weird. Really?
yeah, everyone up there roots for Notre Dame.
Well,
Like
that's really weird.
everybody, like I remember. So
That's
that's like our team.
that's really weird. No,
hmm
yeah, because no, because I've been in the Midwest my entire life. I knew that Notre Dame was in Indiana, so that's really weird. How yeah, but like oh yeah, fighting Irish, and then Irish is also a big like Boston thing, even though Boston isn't New
Yeah.
York, but it's really close. I never put those two together. That's really strange. Hmm.
Yeah, no, it's really strange. Like especially in New Jersey when I lived in New Jersey, like that was a big college team over there. But I grew up watching pros, New York Giants fan, which we're getting there. We're getting there. We finally got our quarterback of the future.
No,
So
no Eli.
I never liked Eli, honestly.
I mean,
Like everybody's like, he got you 2 Super Bowls. No, our defense and running game got us a Super Bowl. He just decided to show up.
yep, yep.
That's what happened. Like he's probably like, if he gets in a Hall of Fame, they better put Jim Plunkett in a Hall of Fame. That's all I'm gonna say. But for me, pro football is probably like it has more. It's like something I really enjoy. It's like always there, always on.
Hmm.
But college has definitely been creeping up there a little bit because being at UGA, that's all we have here. That's it's
Mm.
insane how big it is here.
Yeah, and I was gonna ask. So since you're at the University of Georgia, have you actually gone to a football game there?
I have. I actually. I've gone to the games. I've worked the games. I've done
Oh,
like
you've worked there.
I.
Okay.
I've got like a lot of experience. Like I transferred here last semester, so I was a junior. I mean, I was a sophomore then. I'm a junior now,
Okay.
and I got to get as much experience for my major over here. So I decided to like join up with the sports marketing program.
Okay.
So what I do is like I work pregame with like all like the sponsors, or I work during the game, and I control like which sponsors come through, like the 330 board or like the main scoreboard, and just keep track of
Mm.
everything that comes through. So it's really cool. So I've gotten like all behind the scenes and everything, which is definitely a great way to get experience in
So
college football and just the overall background.
so you got contacts then, don't you?
I got contacts. I got a lot of contacts.
Dude, that's awesome. So, all right, so let's take a step back here. So, you are in sports management. Is that your major, I guess?
That is my major. That's what I've been loving. I've been loving it so far.
Cool, cool. So, all right, so why? So, what was it about sports management that like got you interested? And it's like, okay, this is where I want to go in life.
So it was overall just like me growing up loving sports. Like I'm a like if you ever talk to me like back in the day, that's all I used to talk about. I still gotta talk all about it
Hmm.
with like being in NASCAR and everything, like talking about like every single sport possible that I can. And now that I'm able to like go on Twitter and just talk about hockey all I want, it's amazing.
Hmm.
So like with me, it's just like I have so much knowledge. Like I've watched so many videos, so many back behind the scenes. I played football, so I know what's happening on the field in the slightest sense. But the problem is I'm short,
Hmm.
5'4", which is under requirement for to play college football.
Hmm.
So I had to think of something else, and I've really been interested in like in contracts and what happens behind the scenes of a football team.
Hmm.
So really, what's become my like ultimate goal is to actually be able to run a team or run an organization. Like
Hmm.
it's like as far up as I can.
Sure.
So if it requires me to buy a team, I'm gonna have to do that.
Okay.
So like that's been like overall, but like it's just like it's like I'm sitting here like I'm not I'm not tall. I'm not as athletic as everybody else, so I'm not gonna be able to make it in so far. So might as well stick with it. I have so much knowledge in it. I don't want to let my knowledge talent that I like to call it go to waste.
Hmm.
So I that's really the love of it. I just get myself so involved. I got so many connections, so many people I've been talking to, so many like people come reaching out to me actually, just like asking me like, hey, like what you got going on here? What do you think about this? It's just like just showing that like I have a say in sports right now, and I have a platform that gives me like something just to like have like a little bit of a say
Hmm.
in what happens and like what people think.
Hmm. Oh, that's really interesting. So I do want to continue that, but I actually want to back up 1 second. So you played football in high school. Is that correct?
Mm-hmm.
Well,
Yes.
all right. What was your position?
I started out as a linebacker, and then I couldn't see over the line.
Ah, yeah,
I
that's
couldn't
a.
see over the line. So overall, they just had me like go in there for blitzes. So, and I'm like, I didn't like that. I wanted to be on the field like a
Hmm.
lot. So I moved over to running back. maybe it was like a scout back over there. Like I wasn't like an every down back. I'll come in like as a reliever for the D1 athlete who was above me. So
Mm,
that was
mm.
me. That was mainly me. So I
Okay.
got I got experience on both sides of the ball. So that's where my knowledge mainly comes from.
Yeah, for sure. No reason,
Mhm.
I played high school football as well. Actually, I played 3 years of it, and just for reference, I'm 6'1", so I'm a little
Okay,
taller.
okay, show
But
off.
here's the thing. I'm one of those weirdos that actually had a growth spurt in the middle of high school. So like,
Really?
yep. So like eighth grade, seventh grade, I was actually one of the shorter kids. And then all of a sudden,
That's
puberty
crazy.
decided to be a butthole, and it's like, oh, you're gonna sprout on up. And it's really funny because of all of my brothers. Like, so there's like I have two younger, one older brother, and
Hmm.
you know how it's like for just because of age, like the oldest brother is usually the tallest, and then second tallest, third, etc., etc. Of
Hmm.
all of the height statures, I actually ended up becoming taller than my older brother, and that's it.
Really?
Yeah, it's so weird, and like I was not expecting it, I was not planning it, and
That's
yeah,
crazy.
yeah, I seriously was one of the shorter kids, and like, so I even played tackle football back in like middle school, and we had so many people try out that we had like a short team and a tall team, and I was on the short team with all the. Oops, sorry
Hey.
about that, but
Yeah,
yeah,
you're fine.
yeah, but I was on like one of the short team, and like you, I played pretty much every position. Like I went from O line to D line and to
Hmm.
linebacker, and I eventually ended up having my footing in wide receiver and cornerback actually. So I actually was a scout player like you. I'd never really gone to the field unless we were kicking butt or if they were kicking our butt, and
Right.
then I
Yeah.
would go in. And especially the last 2 years of high school, the reason I did football was because of track, because I was a sprinter in track
Right.
and field. Yep. So that's what I used football for. And you know, something a little cute. You know what my number was in high school?
What was it?
88.
Oh my gosh.
Yep.
It
So
makes
two
so much sense now.
Yep. So two reasons. One, because Dale Jr. and all that fun stuff. But also, my dad used to play high school football, and his number was 88 as well.
Oh, that's cool.
Yep, yep. So a little kind of like homage, if you will. So yeah, 88, and it was so like our uniforms were so cool. Like we looked like the Indianapolis Colts, like to a T.
That's awesome.
Oh yeah, white helmet with the blue sticker. The blue uniforms were so tight, like literally, like really tight on our
I
shoulder
remember.
pads. Yeah, but what's so cool too is we actually had nameplates too on the back of our shoulder
Lucky.
pads.
You're so
Yes, yeah.
lucky.
So it had spear on the back, and it's like, I'm like a professional football player, but it's in high school. But
Yeah,
yeah,
no, that was the difference with me. I didn't get to choose my number, so I got stuck with 41.
oh
Yeah, so I mean, it's like sort of like a Darren Sproles number. Like you're just like the little guy on the team. So
yeah,
I like took it in a little bit,
mm,
but
yeah, and
they called me Rudy so many times. I'm surprised they didn't give me
that's
41.
cute. You should have ran with that with your social media stuff. You
I
should.
wish I did, but I mean, yeah.
Well, people can meme about it now. Just be like, "Oh, hey, Jake," and it's just a picture of Rudy.
Oh, hey, Rudy.
Rudy.
Yeah.
That's funny. But no, dude. Like, and I honestly thought about doing football in college, but it was just one of those deals where I just wanted to get into the college like atmosphere, and then
Hmm.
I ended up doing track and field, so I ended up being a sprinter for 8 years actually, through
Okay.
high school and college. And it sucks because it's like once I'm done with college, like there was really no opportunities for me to continue my sprinting career. And so like
Right.
I still like worked out. And so side note, that was a little reason why I was a little late to get going because I was working out. Um,
Okay.
and so it's kind of weird for me because not to get too far out there, but for a little while, I still worked out as if I was a sprinter. And I was still doing like sprinting drills and stuff like that, but I had nothing to like look forward to. I didn't have any meets, I wasn't running like competitively, but I was still
Hmm.
working out. And then it got to a point where I like stopped and it's like, wait a minute, there's no reason for me to do this anymore.
Right.
So then I had to like adjust my workouts appropriately so that like I'm not like killing it every single time, and
Hmm.
I'm able to like still like feel good after my workouts, but I still need to do it because if I don't work out at all, I turn into a fat, worthless slob.
Yeah, no, I feel you there. Like I actually joined a jogging class this semester because I never used to be. I never was like an endurance runner. I was
Hmm.
more like endurance that like I know how to like save my energy, but I never
Yeah.
had to like constantly go run, run, run. So
Yeah.
that's why I like wanted to like to do that. Like I had like like all like last year like I wasn't able to like work out so well.
Hmm.
So I wanted to continue like doing like what I wanted to do back in like football, but like there's no reason for me to like gain back like get like all strained up and everything, like get ready to like take a hit or whatever. So
Yeah.
I kind of just like more moved over to like more cardio, which I really haven't done so much like with football instead of like doing completely like strength training. And like honestly, I've been liking it better because I've been feeling better. Like I
Yes.
don't feel like in pain so much. Like I still do weights, but I don't do like as heavy weights like
Yep.
that. Like oh, I need to get up my weight. Like I don't even care. Like I could just like lift up 5 pounds. I'll be happy. So
Yeah.
it's like as long as I'm not hurting, like I'm happy because
So,
those were painful.
mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Those were painful.
No, that's really funny that we're going this direction. So one other area, so other than NASCAR and, animation design, a third area that I am like, I wouldn't say I guess passionate, but I'm not like a diehard fan of, is like fitness and like health wellness. And
Mm-hmm.
so actually, so as you've seen, like I've been doing this new stream schedule and I've been streaming like a lot like this week. And a big thing that I've been kind of like learning and taking grasps on is just like simply taking care of myself going in. And so like one big thing I've been doing is when you want to have like downtime, like when you're doing that time of nothing, you're doing like nothing. And so like
You're
what
doing
I would
absolutely
and
nothing.
what I'm talking about more and specifically is like when I get home from work, I would put on like a blindfold, I would put on the headphones, and I would just put on like sleep music for an hour. And it's just literally nothing. I'm not watching TV, I'm not on my phone,
Mm-hmm.
I'm not even looking at anything. I'm just there on the
Right.
couch with my thoughts. And it's a nice place because it's a nice like putting it in computer terms like downloading thoughts, downloading the ideas, and putting them
Mm-hmm.
into like files and folders. So then once that hour is up, you feel more mindful and you're more
Mm-hmm.
like in the moment. And that has helped me so much with being more out there, being more creative, and getting more out there. And actually, so
I might need
what
to try to do that honestly because school's been like I had 2 exams on the same day like this past week, so I've been like busy. So that might actually be like something I should try.
Sure. Yeah. Like after like an exam or like when you're done with classes, yeah, just go to your room, pop on the bed for like an hour and just do nothing. And like even like, yeah, put on your headphones, plug in and like on YouTube, they have like 8 hours of like sleep music. And that's what
Mm-hmm.
I do. And actually, side note, and I don't know. It's kind of funny that I don't know. I don't know if there are ads on the those videos, and that's just simply because I have. Well, no, the reason why is because I have a YouTube Premium.
Oh, you're lucky.
Yeah, no, I decided to invest in it, and I would say on that note, it has really helped me a lot because like I don't get ads. Like any video I play, I don't get
Yeah,
any
that's
ads at all, and it is so nice because I'm able to
mm-hmm.
get in, watch what I want, do what I want without having to waste either 15, 30 seconds, whatever, for something I will probably never buy.
Right,
So,
exactly.
yeah, so I don't remember what the monthly payment, I think it's like 10, $11 a month or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and people that are watching or if you're listening to this later, it's worth it. I would definitely say it's worth it because like whatever you're doing, whatever you're watching, whatever you're listening, whatever, like you want to have that. And if an ad like comes in and just messes that up for you, it's worthless.
Yeah,
like
no,
you
it's like it's so it sucks. Just like whenever like you're getting into something and you're like watching, you're like go to it.
Yep.
Ad.
Yeah,
It always sucks.
for someone that you probably are not even gonna buy and not even
Right,
like piques your
exactly.
interest.
The stupid video games like are like the worst things possible.
Oh
Like
yeah,
just
like the phone games or
they're
whatever.
such terrible quality. They
Yeah,
never are like that. It's insane like how stupid it is.
yeah. So, so I want to like, so you kind of told me more about your like college, I guess, experience. And one thing that you talked about before that you wanted to ask me is just kind of like, I guess, how I came to be with the whole design and
Yeah,
just
yeah, yeah.
animation
I'm
stuff like
actually
that.
really interested in that.
For sure. So it's one of those things where it's really come later in life where like this all kind of like snapped for me. But I've just been thinking about it because like throughout my entire life, like childhood and whatnot, one thing that I was huge on is lists. I would make lists constantly, and specifically on the NASCAR side, I constantly made lists of like what the roster of the teams would be for the next year in the current year. And I did this like early 2000s, like 2003. I would have like a little list of like, okay, who's all like where would Brian Vickers go in 2004? And I would like I wouldn't know that Brian Vickers would be in the 25 because I thought Nemechek would be in the 25. But so I had that like fascination of going back to the idea of like the what if and just like what if we can take life and put it in a new dimension, if you will, and then run
Hmm.
with it? And just from a logical standpoint, what would happen? And so
Right.
that's why, like with my What If Dale Earnhardt series, and I guess why a lot of people watched it was just because I wanted to make that be like something that is surreal and I hate to say it, but illogical, but I want to put some logic behind it and what would I think happened and just knowing like who Dale Earnhardt was and knowing who and what other people were like. I can try and again, no one knows. And there's no way we could figure out what life would be like if Dale Earnhardt was still alive.
Right.
That
And it,
but I
like having NR 2003 as like a platform to like simulate the races is
mm-hmm.
like such a blessing.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. No, that's so fun. And I have such a blast doing stuff on Enter 2003. But going back more to the design aspect, I yeah, just like I guess one big thing is I'm much more of a visual guy versus like
Mhm.
a talking guy, which is why I personally am never a fan of talk shows like on TV, like when there are people like
Right.
talking and stuff like that. It doesn't interest me just because visually there's like nothing going on the screen other than just a camera shot of one person to a camera shot of another person, and it's just the same thing over and over again. And it just never like caught my interest. But visually, like give me those colors, give me those, and that's so okay. So another stupid little fun fact. So the two subjects that were big to me in high school and college, math and art and design, like literally
Hmm.
two polar opposites, and I am fascinated with both. And there's like I've heard like other people say like they're so jealous and they're like, how could you have both? It's got to be one or the other. But no, like numbers, I can easily do math, and I've done like calculus and trigonometry and that stuff. Like as weird as it sounds, that's no problem to me.
Hmm.
On the flip side of the coin, English, as weird as it sounds, I am not the best at.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, like I like any like reading class, writing class, like dealing with Shakespeare, like I don't know, I just was not interested in it or wasn't really like good at it, if you will.
Hmm.
So I'm just trying to think what else. I guess if you have any other questions based off of that. Um No, it's just the whole like design aspect. And so going okay, cartoons. Let's just go down that route. So
Hmm.
I guess let me ask you a question. Did you watch many cartoons as a kid?
Oh yeah, no, all the time.
Can you name
Like
me?
I was watching like Chowder, like I was
Mm,
like Adventure Time,
yep,
Regular Show, like all
yep.
those type of shows. I was, and then like my sister would watch Nickelodeon, so I'd watch like SpongeBob with her and Jimmy Neutron.
Mm,
Like Jimmy Neutron was like the show, honestly. It was
yes.
great.
Oh
Like I
yeah.
was never like a kid that like picked one over the other,
Yep.
except for Disney. That can go screw. I was more of Cartoon Network and
Nickelodeon.
Nickelodeon. I would
Yep.
go back and forth between those, between like shows that I liked and everything over there.
Okay, well, that's good to know. So I'm let's so age aspect. So I'm 26. So I was like a late 90s kid, and so I was like even older at Nickelodeon.
Uh,
So like Rugrats, All Real Monsters, Hey Arnold,
right.
and then like with Cartoon Network, Johnny Bravo, Dexter's Laboratory, Powerpuff Girls. So like I was
Hmm.
that stuff, and that was the stuff I majority of the time I watched. And that stuff fascinated me. And just the way how like people move and the way how like you can like create your own story and like the way how the people are and the background is, it's
Hmm.
all in like one setting, if you will. Which is why I'm a little with these new like CGI films where it's like
Yeah.
humans. And so like if the technology can get up there, then sure I would buy it more. But not yet. And I just think it needs a
Hmm.
little more time and like maybe get up there like 4K, 8K, maybe 16K. We'll see. But what's so nice about cartoons is you can get so creative with
Yeah.
your shows and movies. And last year, or yeah, last year and beginning of this year, it kind of like clicked for me because I don't know how much you know, but like 2018 sucked for me. It was
Oh yeah.
such an awful year. And
Yeah,
I
I was
was,
with you right there.
yeah, and I was just trying to, literally trying to find what made me happy. And I literally took a walk down memory lane, and it's like, what was some stuff that made me happy? And I decided just one day marathon just a bunch of old cartoons, and it's like, ah, that's
Hmm.
it. And so, like, one of the first cartoons I watched, new, was it's a show called Over the Garden Wall. Have you ever heard of that before?
I don't think I've ever heard that. No.
Yeah, I highly recommend. So it's actually it's a limited series or a short series. It's like 10 episodes. Each episode is like 11 minutes long.
Oh,
It
geez. Okay.
Yeah, so it's very short commitment. It's like hour and a half long, like if you put it all together. But I highly recommend it. It's definitely funny. The cartoon style is cute, but the biggest thing I'm a fan of and like that really has gotten me to where I am is the story. It is
Hmm.
such a clever, cute little story. And actually, one of the main characters is Elijah Wood, if you know who that is.
Sounds familiar.
Or
Sounds.
is Elijah Wood? I think that's who it is. Oh, what stuff is Elijah Wood in? Let me just pull it up. Elijah Wood. He's been in a lot of movies. Let's see here. Oh, duh, Lord of the Rings. He's
Oh, okay.
he's
That's where I
Frodo.
heard him from.
Frodo.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
what I remember. Yes.
yeah, yeah. He's one of the voice actors in the movie or in the show, I should
Okay.
say. Yeah. So yeah, and then like beginning of this year, the first show I watched was Gravity Falls, and so actually, if you see here, let me just turn my camera right there. See that right there? That's the
Oh,
Gravity
yeah, yeah.
Falls poster. So the thing is, and this is kind of like the last big subject I want to just talk about, is just the idea of like showing off who we are as people because we're
Hmm.
NASCAR fans and like we still want to make NASCAR content for sure, but that's not all for us. And so I'll let you talk about your sports thing in a minute. But for
Hmm.
me, like, sure, NASCAR is a big thing for me, but I just want to make stuff. And it's called creators for a reason, like YouTube
Right.
creators. Like we want to create stuff, create content, create make people think. And so like as much as I'm a fan of, supporting businesses and whatnot, I also want to break it as well and like have a new focal point, a new perspective, if you will. And
Hmm.
like going back to like helping out with NASCAR, like think outside the box. Like instead of, succumbing to what the fans want and having these like forced drama moments, like what maybe take a step back and like figure out why was it that Michigan Speedway, which back in the day had those long green flag runs, still had 150,000 people show up.
Right.
And
Exactly.
and so going back to then me personally, like I still want to make NASCAR stuff. I still want to do stuff in Inter 2003. I am highly thinking about bringing back one more Spark if the all the pieces line up together.
Hmm.
But I also want to really focus more on the animation and design side. One thing that I've been doing actually these past few months, I actually bought a book from Barnes and Noble, literally how to draw people. Like the actual
Really?
design. Yeah, like an actual design like let's see if I can maybe show off here for 1 second. Yeah, I literally let's see. Again, without showing off too much, let's see. Um, let's see. I want to make sure I get this right because there's definitely some information in here. Okay, so I would just say like here. See, so like, let's see if you can see it. So you have all these sketches of like people, and
Oh yeah.
this is like chapter one of the book, and it's just literally like stick people, but it's like the idea of like how people are placed, how they move, stuff like that. And I've literally been practicing that. Like whenever I'm not like streaming or whatever, I've been learning just how to draw people in like different perspectives, and it's one of those things where it's like one step at a time. And as like what you said with your sports management stuff, like taking in as much as you can, breathing it, and like doing all the little steps you can so that you could eventually
Mhm.
buy a team and really go somewhere with it.
Right.
And so the thing, and so one thing I want to say too, and I'm kind of rambling, so if you want to interrupt me, you're more than welcome to.
It's all good.
Um, so I like NASCAR for different reasons. And I feel
Mhm.
like I've told you this, but I am more focused on the design aspect of
Yeah, you
NASCAR.
said that.
Yeah. So like going back to as I said before in this podcast, like Ricky Stenhouse Jr. Like big fan. I was a fan of him was because of the design of his car. His car was just gorgeous, and I love that. And that was what got me into NASCAR back in the late 90s. Because if you look at the cars back in the day, there was a vast majority of just color and beauty and design. Because you got like the bright Tide car, the green Interstate Batteries car, black Dale
Mm-hmm.
Earnhardt, the
Mm-hmm.
rainbow Jeff Gordon. Like everyone had their own identity. And that was so cool. And then just off of that, one thing that I hate to admit, but one thing I love is crashes. I am one of those guys that
Yep,
love
that's what got me
crashes.
into
Yep.
it.
And so like seeing like cars like either with different damage and in the air and stuff like that, like sure it's dangerous and whatnot, but visually it looked so cool. So if there's a way to either keep the driver safe, or an idea I've had too is like the whole like simulator thing where you got people like kind of in a garage or something like that, like driving the cars, but then the cars are still on the racetrack and it's like a radio like antenna or something like that. So then
Mhm.
like the cars can still crash and like have those wild moments, but no driver's lives are on the line, if that makes any
Right.
sense. Yeah. So overall though, just going back to what I was saying about like having my own identity, like I just want to make stuff. And that's why I'm
Mhm.
doing this like stream series, and that's why I'm talking to you and all these people, is just to show that I can like I have something to give and something to prove. Something more, I should say. Because I know I've made all that content in the past, but it's like I'm not done. And sure, it sucks because it's like I'm working 40 hours a week and it's not necessarily my dream job, but it's all pieces that are coming together where either next year or a couple of years or whatever, I I'm able to do what I want to do for a living, and that is making stuff. And whether that
Mhm.
is making more NASCAR stuff independently, or if I do get hired by a studio and create the next animated show,
Right.
I like that's the stuff that I'm passionate about, is just making stuff, doing stuff, and thinking differently. Because that is one thing that I've noticed is that I don't think the same as the average person. I just go about life differently. Like I just don't think about being nervous and thinking about like being anxious and like having those like cliche thoughts and whatever. Like it just doesn't come naturally to me. And
Mhm.
even though it might be a little bit of a curse, it might also be, I feel like, an advantage too. And that's why like I'm doing these like different streams and whatnot and talking to you and whatnot, is just to help me work on those communication skills so that we can all get along and we can create some awesome stuff.
Right. Exactly.
Quick
You
little
know.
quick little shout out to Kate Kamadick Racing for subscribing. So thank you so much. Anyway, so I'm sorry that was a lot. So
Yeah. No, you're fine. Like I have like sort of like same thing. Like let me show you this actually because like
absolutely,
I'm into like business of like I've been like really like getting into like business of sport like everything behind the scenes and everything.
yeah, yeah,
And like I feel like since I have like a big fan base in like NASCAR, like that like I can like possibly like get like a say out there and like sort of like help bring in more fans and like bring up ideas that like other like the industry can use to like bring in more fans and like have like more of like an outreach to people.
Mm-hmm.
So what I've got right here is a giant ass map. Sorry about my language again.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
um like everything that's like on here are either like tracks or like the pins even consider like people are from, like where like NASCAR is from. I mainly just got like drivers on here so far.
Yeah.
So like certain like colors on here, like pink is like they're like one, like I have like set out to
Let
like
me do
4 hours
this.
away from a track.
Okay, so here, sorry to interrupt you, but what I just did is I just made you the focus. So like I did the speaker view, so it's all you
Oh,
with the map.
perfect.
Yeah.
Oh, perfect. All right, cool. Yeah. So like if you have like pink, you're near one track that's 4 hours away from you. Yellow two, green three, then blue, you're near nothing,
Yep.
pretty much. So what I've noticed that is like up here, Iowa would be a great track.
Yes.
Iowa would be amazing to like get like this outreach over here and like get everybody in here,
Mm-hmm.
like over to Iowa, because that's an outreach. That's like a perfect track for like a Cup Series to go there. Like these are all Cup Series tracks,
Yep.
and that's like my main focus so far.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like that. We have like Ohio, that's like could be a big track. We have like Memphis could be like huge to get like a track over there.
Yep.
Like just like having more of an outreach. Even though I was bringing up like near Houston, like get like a track out there
Mm-hmm.
because like you're bringing in like more fans like over there with like you're probably gonna have like a lot of like fans from Texas, but you only have one track,
Yep.
and then the nearest track to you is Kansas. That's like 10 hours away.
Mm-hmm.
So like it's like possibly like that's also like a reason for like sort of like what we call like the downfall of NASCAR, because like they're so focused on like the East Coast and like not like expand, like they had like an expansion out west but only got 4 tracks,
Mm-hmm.
and like people that are near Sonoma only get to go to Sonoma. People near Auto Club get, and possibly if they have like enough time, money, and everything, they could go to Las Vegas.
Mm-hmm.
But you're like that's what all other sports do better than NASCAR right now, because like NASCAR is different. You go to like certain tracks each like on a certain time, certain date or whatever. But that's what like NFL, NHL, like all of them do better is that they have like a better outreach of like reaching people. So like Seattle, they have a team up Seattle, like NHL is getting a team up there. NFL has a team up there. We have
Yes.
like
Yep.
MLB having a team up there.
Yep.
You have like more than like one team in Texas. You have more than one team in California.
Yeah.
You even have like 3 teams in the New York metro area up
Mm-hmm.
there. So it's like if you get more of a reach out to like people, because like people are complaining like, oh, Alabama doesn't have a football team. They got Tennessee and they got Atlanta.
Mm-hmm.
They have enough room to like go and drive out over there.
Mm-hmm.
So if we expand out to like all these different markets that is like hindering NASCAR, because like Darlington, there's nothing there.
Yep.
You have Watkins Glen. Nobody's ever heard of that unless you live up there. You have let me think of another one. Like Indianapolis is huge. That's why I sort of think like we need to keep Indianapolis on the schedule, even though it's such a boring track,
Yep.
because it brings in such a big market for NASCAR. Even though we only get 50,000 fans, we still get sponsors coming in. We still get money coming in. And if the sport continues to grow and gain more fans, we could possibly like look into like expanding out the IRP. But we need Indianapolis. We need certain these tracks like Chicagoland. That's a perfect track because it's near the Chicago Metro. You have the track in Texas, like Texas Motor Speedway. That's in the Dallas Fort Worth Metro over there. So like they're in perfect spots, but certain tracks just make completely no sense to like go there because of like their market.
Yep.
But it makes sense to NASCAR, but it doesn't make sense to like anybody outside of NASCAR so much.
Mm-hmm.
So if we like expand and get like different tracks, like the track in Nashville would be perfect
Yep.
to get like fans from like Mississippi, Arkansas, Alabama, more from Kentucky,
Mm-hmm.
Missouri.
Mm-hmm.
You get all those fans from those states. Expand out to Iowa. You have Iowa, Nebraska, North Dakota, South Dakota, Minnesota, Wisconsin, Illinois. You have all that space to expand.
Yep.
But you're missing out on that market.
Mm-hmm.
So it's overall just like expanding out. And that's like pretty much my thing that like I feel like I can use my fan base. It's like it sounds bad, but I can use my fan base to have more of a reach to NASCAR because I'm more of an influence for people. Bring like I get so many comments like saying like you got me into the sport. You got me so excited like just to watch this. I don't even watch NASCAR, and I honestly watch your videos because I enjoy like what you make.
Hmm.
So if we expand out to like these people, like even going internationally, like we talked about earlier, like that could have a further outreach to help build up the sport. So that's maybe what I'm trying to do is like think of like use like everything that I've experienced through college so far and reach out and possibly help build the sport back up
Hmm.
to what it originally was because we're calling the next car the next gen and they're saying like this is going to be the redemption car,
Yeah.
but obviously we need to expand out a little bit more and get more tracks onto the schedule so we have a further outreach. That's our problem. We don't have fans like we have like fans all in one area, but not in other areas that we could go to.
Hmm. Hmm. So first off, comedic racing suggests that they should get a track in Alaska. Can you get us another track up in Alaska other than Jukasa Speedway?
Uh,
Yeah, just do that for us.
I mean, like if the truck series, I feel like if the truck series just goes up there, that would be fine enough market to
Hmm.
get up there. But like, it's not like a TV market for like the Cup Series to go to.
For sure. Also, one
Because that's
incarnation.
why no professional sport is up in Alaska. They have no market.
For sure, for sure. Also, one incarnation chimed in and he said Jake Baskinger. So just want to throw it out there.
Okay.
But one thing I wanted to actually go off of that kind of like when I did that whole thing for a second when you mentioned that like New York and California had all these like teams.
Mm-hmm.
What if the NASCAR teams go out to different cities? Like we bring like Hendrick Motorsports and go out to Cali, and then like go and RCR goes up to Washington or something like that. So like the actual team bases are out there. So it's like
Oh, you're
each
talking about the team bases.
yeah. So like move
Okay.
Hendrick Motorsports out to like Los Angeles, let's just say. So like because
Give
all the
give the
teams are out in North Carolina, and
mm-hmm.
I just it's one of those things because like you know how like in the NFL and all those teams you have like that home feed or home team like
Right.
because you like the Atlanta Braves because it's like in Atlanta,
It's in
but
Atlanta,
but for
yes.
like NASCAR like since everyone's in North Carolina, it's like everyone in North Carolina, it's a home team, and then everyone that's outside, it's like an away team. So I guess
Right.
my question to that is like, what do you think of that? Like, would that help at all expand NASCAR at all?
So like I feel like that would be a great idea. Like have like sort of like a home field advantage. Like a
Yeah,
certain team knows a certain track more than anybody else.
yeah.
And the teams that have to come in and beat that team has to have that like has to find that advantage. So it's like honestly, like if anything, it's like the teams would have to own the tracks, if that makes sense. Or would
Mm,
have to team up with the tracks
I
in a
I
way.
don't think so. I don't
I
think
don't
so.
know. I
No,
don't
like
know how.
I'm just thinking like again thinking like let's just use the example of Hendrick Motorsports moves out to Los Angeles, and like Los Angeles and that's where their team is. They're not associated with like Auto
Mhm.
Club or any track. It's just
Okay,
they're
okay.
there. Like for example, Furniture Row Racing
Right.
with Denver, Colorado. I love Furniture Row Racing when they're out in
Mm-hmm.
Denver, Colorado, just because. First of all, fun fact: I used to live in Denver, Colorado, actually.
Right.
So I like I love them for that, and I was at the time a huge fan of Martin Truex Jr. And when he won the championship in 2017, because it's like you got a team that's not in North Carolina, and they end up winning the championship, and that is
Right.
so cool. But then ever since Martin Truex and team went and pretty much went over to Joe Gibbs and Furniture Racing collapsed, I'm not as big of a fan as Truex. So
Yeah, no.
that's the idea that I was just throwing out. Is just like, what if we can like get those teams out there and like I understand North Carolina is like the home of NASCAR and it can still
Mm-hmm.
be, but like if we could, excuse me, get those like teams and like as you said, expand out, get a team out in the Midwest, go far Northwest, like not just the
Yeah.
tracks, but like again the teams. as well, because like
Hmm.
it is America's sport, and like all of
Right.
America loves it, and there is more America than just the Southeast.
Right, exactly. And like what I've also noticed is like just putting all the pins together and everything on this chart. Everybody who's like a driver is from either North Carolina or Virginia. Like
Mm,
they're only from that area. They have like of course like little patches in like California, little patches in Georgia and stuff like that.
yep.
But like you only have that core of like all these guys like you have like David Gill and son Todd Gill, and you have like Harrison Burton, like all these like generation guys who are coming in. They're born from North Carolina,
Yep.
so it's like in a way like if you're gonna be like supporting somebody from like where you're from, you're gonna be like if you're up in like Washington, if you're up in I'm trying to like look like Colorado. If you're from Colorado, you have nobody.
Yep.
Like if you want to support like because I'm gonna bring in Ed Soundhead into this discussion a little bit because
Okay.
he's from like Michigan. He supports the Lions. He supports the Tigers. He supports all those teams up there.
Yep.
But like he supports Brad Keselowski,
Yep.
and he's from Michigan.
Mm-hmm.
So like we have like sort of like a further outreach of like these guys who are like from certain places are like the guys that they support in like their own city. And that's what and like if you go to like high school with these guys and stuff like that, if, like they're involved in your community and stuff. That's what makes you a fan of these guys.
Mm,
But this is also the problem because like you have like NFL teams, NHL teams who like have like who also have players who are involved in the communities. Like Vic Beasley is like huge in like Cartersville. Like he does so much for the community. He plays in Atlanta, but if he played for like if you played for I would say let's give the Rams. Like if you went over and got traded to the Rams,
yep.
that's not really a look on like people supporting like it's not really giving people a support of just like a specific player. It's giving a support to the Atlanta Falcons who like are from Atlanta. You're still going to support Atlanta, but you're probably not going to be supporting Vic Beasley anymore because he just got traded.
Yep.
So that's what I feel like. It's like with these teams, it's like the drivers matter a lot in the sport, but the players matter a lot in other sports as well.
Mm,
So if like we have like that team, like those teams that are like that are developed in California, that are developed in like certain places, and like have like that hometown track, like outside of North Carolina,
mm-hmm.
that would be so helpful for like developing like these fans of like certain teams because we're fans of drivers and we're gonna be fans of drivers,
Mm-hmm.
but not many people support the teams. Like you only hear like people who support Hendricks.
Yep.
That's really the only team you hear people support.
Yep.
You don't hear people support Joe Gibbs. You don't hear people support Penske unless you're an IndyCar fan. Then you support Penske or Chip Ganassi.
Mm-hmm.
But outside of that, you only hear Hendrick fans.
Yep.
You have like Kyle Busch fans. You have Danny Hamlin fans. You have like Brad Keselowski, Joey Logano, all these guys, and
Mm-hmm.
then you have Hendrick fans.
Yep.
Like you have like people who like Chase Elliott, like Alex Bowman, like Jimmy Johnson, like William Byron, because they're on the same team.
Mm-hmm.
And those are the same people that said like they like Dale Jr. Those are the same people that said they like Jeff Gordon. Those are the same people that said they like Mark Martin, Casey Mears, just
Mm-hmm.
because they're on the team. So given that team aspect and bringing in like that team aspect into the sport would be huge of like getting like the community involved and like and like that could be like something just like have marketed around all like town like this team is from here, go and support them, they're coming, all the teams are coming here, support us, like
Mm-hmm.
stuff like that, like having a home field advantage would be huge for like these guys instead of just like having like a player like a driver who's just there and like everybody supports that driver. You have everybody supporting the team. You still
Yes.
support the driver, but you still it's going to be have more of an emphasis on supporting the teams.
One thing I want to add on that actually would be really cool too: local sponsors. So a big what
Yes.
if I want to throw out there too. So let's throw in, let's just say, out of the blue, Roush Fenway Racing decides to move their base from Concord, North Carolina, or wherever they are, to the Twin Cities, Minneapolis, Minnesota.
Mhm.
So, and the reason why I'm going to use that is because I used to live in Minnesota for a long
You've
time.
been living everywhere.
Not east, not west, just Midwest. And that was my
Like
dog.
everywhere in the Midwest.
Exactly. So, the reason, God dang it, that's my dog. Great. Yeah, I'm not a fan of dogs, but that's a different discussion for later. Anyway, so my thinking is, so let's just go ahead. Let's move Roush and the whole corporation. So Ryan Newman is up there in the Twin Cities, and so is Chris Buescher. We're going to jump to
Hmm.
2020.
Yeah.
So one thought, and I don't know if you've noticed this much, but like, do you notice like local commercials like in your area for like different like I don't know like law firms or stuff like that?
Like I know I definitely notice the law firms and like the specific like dealerships that are
Yep.
here.
Car dealerships and like grocery stores,
Hmm.
like, and so my what
Yeah.
if thinking is like those cars can then be sponsored by those companies. Like for example, one
Hmm.
company that is here like in the Midwest is like Hy-Vee Foods. That's our big like grocery store brand out here in the
Right.
Midwest is Hy-Vee. And since it is out in the Midwest, they be sponsored by them, and then they can bring that like exposure out to all the different races, but they know that
Hmm.
Hy-Vee is like a Midwestern place. So like
Right.
I guess my thinking, not to get too far off, but Kroger, because you know how Kroger has their thing with
Yeah, they like
JJ
practically are like part owners of JTG.
pretty much, and I like that idea. Like I like the idea of like one area. So like Roush Racing and like all the companies that are based out of like the Twin Cities. So like throw in Best
Hmm.
Buy, throw in Target, the companies that are General Mills, all those
Yeah.
companies are based out of the Twin Cities. And so like if you have a team that is there and you know how they're looking for sponsors and stuff like that, you only have so many options out in North Carolina.
Right.
Whereas if you bring it out like physically, like your physical bodies out into the Twin Cities, like there's so much opportunities up there.
Hmm.
And plus with like and then you can have like special like events up there. Like you can have like your gift shops and your garage tours up there and like interaction like with the football teams. Because
Right.
even though so fun fact I'm not a Vikings fan, but I see those commercials and like for like Kirk Cousins has like a commercial with like Pizza Ranch and like Stefan
Hmm.
Diggs has a commercial with some other guy or some other company and I'm just thinking like Pizza Ranch would be a cool company to have on a car
Right.
and just having that physical presence in other areas not in North Carolina because let's take it like a step back going like history lesson because in the 90s remember how NASCAR expanded out to different tracks like a Texas California stuff like
Right.
that if they would have had teams do the same thing and like teams from
Hmm.
different areas also and they build cars and shops and all that stuff out in California Washington Colorado etc not North Carolina then yeah, we can totally like I feel like it would be a lot more healthy. And that's why I think the NFL is doing as well as it is because it's not based in one area. Because everyone
Exactly.
because everyone says like Texas is like the home of football, but that's not the only area
They're
there's
America. They
football.
call them like America's team.
Exactly. But you have
Hmm.
teams like as far northwest as Seattle to as far southeast as Miami.
Hmm.
It's so hey Jake, do you want to just create our own NASCAR? Just forget
Yeah,
everything
we
else.
just expect just have our own expansion.
Exactly. Just have our
just,
own
just
series to
we'll
compete.
we'll have our own XFL and we won't fail.
Yeah. Well, oh my gosh, stupid little side thing, but I still remember that one scene where it's like Vince McMahon is like, oh my, it's so dumb because you got Vince McMahon in a locker room with a camera guy, and it's so dumb, it's so meta.
Yeah.
Where you know what I'm talking about? Where it's like you got
Yes. To
McMahon
go
and
into the
you
girls' conference.
yes, and it's like you got the camera guy, and it's
Yeah.
showing another camera guy. And it's like, oh, let's get those views, and then he slams the camera guy into the door, and then the camera guy gets knocked out, and it's like, that's content apparently.
Yeah. I
So
mean, this is 2001, so it's
yeah,
YouTube
yeah,
wasn't invented at all.
no, yeah. So okay, so we're coming up here on an hour and a half, surprisingly. So
Oh wow.
yeah, so I guess quick question. So XFL is coming out in 2020. What are your thoughts on it?
I hope it actually does good because I feel like NFL having like another like league out there like that's like sort of like a not like really like a competition but like as sort of like you could scout talent out of this and like see how these guys like develop and everything because college can only do so much. Like
Hmm.
college has like their own certain type of like feel for it. Like not many teams are like a pro offense. So if you get these like college guys that come like out of like all these different types of like different offenses that like pros don't run and put them into like a pro offense, you're like taking a chance on them like in the NFL is you're gonna have bust. But
Yep.
this I feel like would create like sort of like an expansion to like say like have like this is what I like about like the NHL. They have like other like teams below them and like stuff. So like they draft like some of these guys and they say like, hey, we're gonna send you off over here. You're gonna sign like a contract for like 2 years. We're gonna still be in connection with you.
Hmm.
So they get them over there, and then like when they're ready to be brought up, they bring them up,
Yep.
or they can have a choice of like releasing them, and then like another team would have to pick them up.
For
So
sure.
that's why I feel like having like a like sort of a minor league to the major league actually works out best. So
So an Xfinity
I
Series to
feel
the Cup Series.
yeah, exactly.
Hmm.
So that's why I feel like the XFL is actually like gonna it's I mean, I feel like that's what I thought the same thing as the AAF,
Hmm.
like that social media was gonna thrive that, but we saw how that ended.
Yep. Yep.
It wasn't good. So I hope it does good. I hope like I feel like Vince McMahon has like more of an idea of like what to do. Like have less focus on like getting viewers and getting TV in
Yep.
there, and having more of an emphasis on football. So I feel like this could possibly work, but I'll have to wait and see because now I'm skeptical after the AAF.
Yeah. And that's the part that I agree with. It's just like I just have another football league. Like don't deal with that drama and that excess of outside crap. Just not a fan
Right,
of that.
exactly.
Yeah, and actually, a little side note: back in the day, as a child, I did used to watch the WWE, the John Cena, JBL, Booker
Mm-hmm.
T, all that fun stuff. And then it was like around 2008, I think, is when I stopped watching. And honestly, like they're in this like PG era, if I recall, and there's like no blood, and it's just one of those deals where it's like
Right.
not interested. But no,
Mm-hmm.
I hope the XFL works, and I hope it does work as a good like minor league. Of course, like have fun, like no question
Yeah,
about
of
it.
course.
But none of this side drama bull spit is all I say and all I
Yeah.
ask. So cool. Okay, so we're wrapping up here. Here, is there anything else you wanted to ask or talk about?
I mean, I don't know what else we need to talk about. I feel like we got a lot of things discussed and we got a lot of things out there. So it's just overall, this was a great show, great idea, and I'm happy to be on.
Thank you. Yeah, no, what I want to do is I want to do this like once a week with like other people and again, just spitballing different ideas. And it won't be like NASCAR all the time. In fact, next week.
Right.
So next week, the person I'm going to talk to is actually my little brother's best friend through childhood.
Okay.
Yeah, because you know that my little brother passed, right?
Yeah,
You aware of
yeah,
that? Yeah.
yeah.
So she actually is a big designer herself, actually, and she's big into like
Okay.
cartoons and stuff like that. So it's not NASCAR related, which I know I'm probably not going to get as many
That's good.
viewers, but I also don't care. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, so we'll talk about that, and then also we'll just talk about and like that's a thing for you and then everyone else that's watching and slash listening. You guys will get a better understanding about who Tate was and how much of a great guy he was. So,
Mm-hmm.
but yeah, so we're coming up here on 1.5 hours. No, I really enjoyed this. Just this time with
Yeah.
you, like, and that's one last thing. Like, I love having this like one-on-one time with other people because it's like my time is for you, and to have the
Mm-hmm.
talks of whatever. Because if we're in a group of people, everyone talks or wants to over talk each other,
Yeah, 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 yeah.
and I end up like becoming like absolutely quiet. Like there's a couple times I'll like be in the Discord with like Rusty Walrus when he does his stream, and everyone's talking, and I'm just like sitting there just
I feel that.
yeah.
I feel that a lot.
So yeah, and then so the last thing too, and one last goal I guess is just talk or just having these talks, just these open talks, just open ideas, and who knows, maybe someone can take these ideas and make something, maybe convince NASCAR, who knows. So
Mm-hmm.
all right, any last thoughts, Jake?
I had a good time.
Me too,
I
man.
don't know what else to add.
No, that's totally fine, man. Well, thanks, Jake. Thank you so much for being part of this experiment, man. Greatly appreciate it. Do
You're welcome.
you wanna plug your stuff?
All right, so you guys already know my YouTube. It's just my name right there, Jake Baskinger. Easy to spell out. Twitter and Instagram, I'm getting more active on Instagram. Twitter, I've been hella active over there. So over there is at J Baskinger 41. Makes sense because I was number 41 in high school.
Yep.
And really nothing else right now. I have like another idea of like plugging something, but I haven't made it fruition yet. So
Okay.
well, that'll come later on.
I'm sorry. Do you have an Instagram?
I do, yeah.
Okay. Cool. Okay. I'll so after this talk, I'll link those in the description, and we'll go from there. So, Jake
Perfect.
Bassinger, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
All right, and that'll do it for me. So, thank you guys so much for watching. And this is Griffin Spear with Jake Bassinger saying so long until next time,
See ya.
and end the stream.